Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
Kenton alleges racism in Saskatchewan. Not shocked, but there's racism everywhere. I've heard the N-word in South Florida. So I don't like that. I mean, it's Kenton's experience, but don't tell me Saskatchewan is any worse than anywhere else. It's everywhere, and it needs to be cleaned up. And number 3, with the Rough Riders refusing to allow Kenton to retire as a Rough Rider, and that they won't put him into the Plaza of Honor. I guess from the article, he didn't play long enough to qualify. That's all bunk. He should go into the Plaza of Honor. I believe he's the 3rd all-time rushing leader in Saskatchewan history. All the top 5 receiving yards guys are in. So why don't you put Kenton Keith in? It's an unfortunate. My take on it is that it's the way the Rough Riders do business now. They put personal petty grudges against what's best for the franchise. And they've completely obliterated and ruined the Plaza of Honor. They've ruined it. This regime now. And it's not just one guy, it's a few guys. So I knew Kenton very well. He was popular with some teammates, not popular with others. That's life. He deserves to go in. But because of a grudge being held a couple of decades later now, he's not going to go in. It's sad, but that's Rider fans deserve better, but that's what they get. That's what it is now.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10, and the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar, and my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show. Welcome. Come on inside. Yeah, we're in South Florida for now. And we're ready to have fun for the next 2 hours. It is episode number 851 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. Very excited today. We teed this up yesterday a little bit. We're going to tee it up again today. Hour 1, Justin Dunk, 3 Down Nation, Canadian Football League insider, is going to be with us. And in hour 2, the man who caught Dan Marino's last ever touchdown pass in the National Football League, Oronde Gadsden, is going to be with us. He's now on Dolphins radio. He's an analyst. He's got a heck of a colorful career. He's top 15 all-time Dolphins receiving yards and receptions. Oronde Gadsden in hour 2. And we're going to talk a little bit about, obviously, week 4 in the NFL. I think a little bit of South Florida weather, how he's holding up, how we're potentially holding up. And ready to have fun along with all the other NHL, CFL, NFL, junior hockey news that we do every day. Let's bring in the Moose now, Darren Moose Dupont. He is in the Bermuda Triangle of the National Hockey League. I think that's a lot safer than the actual Bermuda Triangle. Moose, how are things in your world? Tell me before we get into the Quick Six Show topics here and really cut her loose.
Yeah, they're going to be fantastic today. It's actually supposed to be 28 degrees and sunny here today. So I got my shorts on and I've got my Cocoa Beach coffee cup thinking about the Florida East Coast. So, yeah, there you go.
Everybody's telling me how hot it is. So, woo-ha, as Rick Regan would say. Can we hit the Quick Six Show horn, please, guys? And thank you. I understand there will be a lot of wind going on behind me, potentially rain. So here we fingers up, prayers up for the RP Show host, okay? And as my brother once said, what he loves about this show is that anything can happen at any time. So here's hoping we stay safe. We're going to open with the National Hockey League. Sorry, I'm tripping all over my headphone plug here. The Seattle Kraken are off to a 2-0 NHL preseason start. The Kraken knocked off the Edmonton Oilers 3-0 at Climb and Pledge Arena on Tuesday night. The Oilers on Monday, and then Tuesday night they beat the visiting Calgary Flames 3-0. Daniel Sprong and Jaden Schwartz scored second-period goals for the hosts, who outshot the Flames 35-25. Andrew Podorowski added an empty netter with 54 seconds to go in the third. Philip Grubauer and Magnus Hellberg shared the shutout for Seattle. The Flames, with all due respect, played a bunch of no-names, so they're going, they're getting excited in Seattle, and well, they should. And pay attention, Moose, because I want your take on this. Over in Winnipeg, Daniel Torgerson scored twice, and Kyle Connor had a goal and 2 helpers as the Winnipeg Jets beat the visiting Ottawa Senators 5-3. Sens iced the lineup without many stars, including Cam Talbot, Brady Tkachuk, and Tim Stützle. Rick Bowness, the head coach of the Jets, saying afterwards, and I quote, "I'll never complain about a win, but listen, there's a lot of work to be done here. I thought we started to skate better in the third, but no, I'm not happy with it at all." We'll go to all the other NHL results in a minute, but I want your take on the coach, Rick Bowness, saying that. I wonder if people understand. I completely understand what he's saying. You understand what he's saying, but I think there's probably a lot of Jets fans that left the rink excited that they won and then saw the coach's comments and like, why is he upset? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's about the process, and Rick is looking forward. He's with us. He's not worried about wins and losses in the preseason. He needs to make sure the process is there. And if this team's not working hard enough and doing the right things, it's going to catch up with them when they drop the puck for real and play against the real NHL stars. When teams start icing their number one lineups, you mentioned the players won yesterday in that Jets versus the management and coaches battle. That they won. Well, Rick Bowness is the one opportunity to try and clean this up and maybe communicate with that team and change the culture. So he's trying to do that, and we'll see if he can accomplish it.
Moose, I'm going to try and keep my patience here. The viewers are already testing my patience, but that's okay. That's what I'm here for. John Massey's watching in Edmonton, my frenemy, and he says, Rod, talk about how you said the Oilers are number one in the Pacific, but the Flames are the best team in the NHL. That makes 0 sense. Okay, John, I'll slow it down for you. Do you guys want to put captions on the screen? I don't know. I said the Oilers will finish first in the Pacific Division. I said the Flames are the number one team right now. I'm talking about what's going to happen next April in terms of the standings versus who's the best team right now. The Calgary Flames made the changes. They got rid of 2 guys who didn't want to be there, and Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk. They added a guy with a Stanley Cup ring and Nazem Kadri. They added Jonathan Huberdeau, who clearly his time here in South Florida had expired, but he's still on. He was an all-star last year. I understand Gaudreau was too. Mackenzie Weegar on the back end. The Flames got a heck of a lot better. Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk let them down in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year against Edmonton. This lineup would probably beat the Edmonton Oilers. So again, John, I'm saying right now, before we even drop the puck in the regular season, the Flames are the best team in the NHL right now because they've made the changes, they've got grit, and they got rid of 2 guys who didn't want to be there. But the Edmonton Oilers could still finish first place. We're talking about something 9 months from now, dude. 9 months. There's the difference. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Please and thank you. And boy, did that get a heck of a lot of reaction, Moose, which really is what we're in it for here, the reaction business. Elsewhere in the NHL Tuesday night, the Boston, and thank you, John, by the way, because everybody's entertained. And that's what we're here for. Boston beat the New York Rangers 3-2 in overtime. I watched that game on the NHL Network. A.J. Greer scored the winner. The Carolina Hurricanes spanked the Tampa Bay Lightning 5-1. Detroit down Pittsburgh 6-2. Devils over the Islanders 4-1. Sabres knocked off Philly 2-1. By the way, Moose, I don't have the keys to TSN SportsCenter. Are they showing the highlights of all these games? How much time are they spending on TSN and Sportsnet, for that matter, on the NHL preseason?
Quite a bit, especially at this time earlier in the week when the NFL's in the rearview window for the week. Yeah, they're spending some time on it.
Okay, good. As are we. How about this one? Dallas beats Arizona 4-3 in overtime. I'm looking up, trying to find the score sheet, okay? And so I click on the chat on the score app, and like, the game was in Tulsa, so we don't have a score sheet. We don't have any live play-by-play. I'm like, it's 2022, bro. What, Tulsa? Do they have the internet, the World Wide Web, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, that I can at least get a score sheet and find out who scored the winning goal for the Dallas Stars over the Arizona Coyotes. It was, incidentally, Mason Marchment. Come on, Darren. What do you think
You're
about
making it seem like it's Slave Lake, Alberta, or the middle of nowhere when you're in the cold, freezing rink and you got to put on 3 extra layers just to get into the hockey rink, and there's not a telephone line in there to do the hockey game, let alone an internet connection. This is Tulsa, man. I don't know the population of Tulsa, but I think it's in the 6 figures, is it not? I mean, Tulsa's a big center.
Can somebody get on that? Can we go to the big board and get the population of Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they don't have the internet yet? The interesting thing is 402,000 people, so maybe they don't. Thank you, producer Clark. 402,000 people in Tulsa. How do they survive without the internet? My God, they could have a storm coming. They wouldn't even know. St. Louis beat Chicago 4-1. Minnesota down Colorado 5-2. And the San Jose Sharks knocked off Anaheim 5-4. And by the way, Mason McTavish did not play for the Ducks in that game because they had the score sheet because they didn't play in Tulsa. Can the Ducks people that are listening text me and tell me why Mason McTavish didn't play for the Ducks last night? Please and thank you. To point 2, Aaron Judge walked 4 times and stayed at 60 home runs, one shy of Roger Maris's American League record, as the New York Yankees clinched the AL East title by beating the Blue Jays 5-2. Dun, 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 dun. It was the first time since 2019 the Yankees have won the pennant. Meanwhile, Ronald Acuna Jr. hit 2 solo home runs, and Atlanta beat Washington 8-2, extending their winning streak to 4 games and moving into a tie for first place in the NL East with the New York Mets. So that's the benefit for our Atlanta viewers, which, by the way, not saying, but just saying, Director Jordan, when's he back? Because we didn't have the podcast up quickly, and I've got WQEE Atlanta up my ass saying, where's the podcast? Our listeners want to know where it is. When's Jordan back? That's his deal, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. He's back tomorrow. We'll be safe.
I knew that. I was just saying it for a fact. But I just want the people to know that Atlanta is on it. They're on it. What did I say yesterday? This has been massive for us, being on the radio in Atlanta. And you skip a day behind, they know.
LFG.
It reminds me when I was the religious programming coordinator for CFSL Radio in Weyburn. I didn't take the job that seriously. The religious programming used to come in on tapes, on reels. That's how old I am. And I'm like, I lost track of last week's show, and, I'll put this one on from 2 weeks ago. Who's going to know? They knew. 30 seconds into the phone's ringing, 30 seconds in on a Sunday morning. Where's that? This was last week's show you're running. That's what's happening in Atlanta. I'm not saying I'm an evangelist. I'm just saying. First, a word from our sponsor, Edo Japan. Edo Japan's fast and friendly service, plus online ordering options, is easy and convenient when you're on the go. Got some time here to get into the Canadian Football League. By the way, did I mention Oronde Gadsden coming up in hour 2, the man who caught Dan Marino's last touchdown pass ever? By the way, Oronde's first ever reception in the National Football League went for a touchdown. This guy gets up in the morning and pisses excellence, Moose. This is the sense that I get from him. So he's going to be with us in hour 2. I want your take on this. Point 3, Craig Dickinson came out yesterday. I think we've all explained to the viewers our affection for Craig Dickinson, both yours and mine. We both know him personally. He's a great guy. Said he was misquoted in saying that, let's be honest, we're not very good. I saw the quote where he said that. I saw that was tweeted by somebody that was at his scrum at Rough Rider practice on Tuesday, and then I saw 3 Down Nation go, here's the clip. No, he wasn't misquoted. If anything, this is a little bit of a dicey thing that you got to be around the media business a little bit to understand what 3 Down did. Did they isolate the clip and blow it up? Abso-smurfly. Did they misquote him? Not on your life. As Bo Levi Mitchell would say, not an effing chance. You were there when he said it. So what do you think went into Craig Dickinson saying he was misquoted? Because he wasn't. And I support Craig, and I've supported him ever since he said it, because the Riders aren't very good. They're the worst record in the CFL since the middle of July. So that's my take. Stand by it. You said it. Stand by it. He must have got his knuckles wrapped by somebody. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you got to stand by it. But at the same time, I'm a big believer in intention and, intent over words, right? So you take these actual words out. And I think what Craig maybe is meaning here, and again, I'm putting words in his mouth, but that wasn't the intent. If you listen to the whole thing of what I said, it wasn't here to tell everybody about how bad our team was. It's more about, hey, we're not playing very good right now, but, right? You forgot about the but. You forgot about the intent of what I'm saying. But in this business, when you say things, they're going to get taken and they're going to get published, and we're not going to take all the time to listen to the context. So we do have to be careful with our words in this business too.
We do, but I will tell you this, as I'm looking at you right now. I listened to that interview 3, 4, 5, 6 times because I transcribed what Dickinson said and put it on rodpeterson.com. I sat in that chair right there out here on the line, He wasn't misquoted. And he wasn't overly distraught or emotional. He wasn't. He was very Craig. Very measured, very level-headed. He's like, I'm just going to be honest with you. We're not very good. Then he went on to explain it. So was that his intent? Yeah, maybe, maybe not. I'm ready to move on from that. But from John in Edmonton, I like this one. He says, thoughts on the Minnesota Wild selling jerseys with advertisements on it? Fans are not happy about it. John is the mayor of Not Happy Fansville. He knows everywhere where the fans are ticked off. I'll say it again. You don't like ads on the jerseys? You want to pay more for tickets? I don't think you do. And by the way, when you get new jerseys, the fans want to buy the exact replica jersey. We all know this. I remember when the Rough Riders came up with those green lime. Remember those? You know the ones. The watermelon seeds on them and the wheat sheet. Yeah. And I'll never forget. I'm calling the games. The guys come out for a warm-up, and this was Dressler era check. There were fans in their seats 2 hours or whatever, an hour before the game for the start of warm-up. Binoculars out, checking every stitch of those jerseys because they wanted to buy one as soon as possible, and they wanted one that looked exactly like the one John Chick was wearing, which I get. I'm all for it. Yeah. So, again, the jerseys in the store, exactly what Kirill Kaprizov's wearing, that's what you want. So can we please stop bitching? Just so tired of it. Trust me, everybody's going nutso here about the Bo Levi Mitchell to Saskatchewan rumor. And we will get there. This poll keeps popping up in front of me, and it's annoying. Jeremy Shackleton says, I'm not opposed to Bo Levi Mitchell, quarterback 1 in Saskatchewan next year. Sometimes change is good. Oh, trust me, our next segment is going to spend a lot of time on this. And by the way, I see we're out of time for segment 1, so stick around. We got that coming up. Hurricane Ian to talk about, CFL power rankings. I want to talk about Connor Bedard not going to the U.S. division this year, and the fans are ticked down there. Should they be? It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, 24-hour sports radio, streaming at rodpeterson.com. And, of course, your home for Southern Sports and Talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right. And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks and make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the beat. I gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Calm so far here on the Atlantic coast of Florida, and hoping that it stays that way. Prayers up to anybody affected by Hurricane Ian, which we'll get into in a moment. Oh boy, not that we necessarily touched a nerve here. We bring the Moose back in, but John Kirby started something from Edmonton with the Minnesota Wild fans upset. The jerseys are being sold with patches on them. Jason in Red Deer says retail jerseys aren't typically sold with the extra patches on them, so I'm surprised they're being sold with the ads. Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg says, do ticket prices go down when there are more ads? Could have fooled me. Back in the 80s when there were no ads on the boards, I could buy Jets tickets for $7. Yeah, and the players were playing for $20 an hour. The ticket prices aren't going to go down because there's ads on the jerseys, but they're not going to go up as much because of the ads on your jerseys. Do you guys understand business? I told you, Darren, I'm going to try and stay patient today, but they're testing my patience. Trent in Norway says, Norway here, if the Riders brass is putting people under wraps, this isn't the Riders I'm proud of. We need freedom to be honest and not forced to backtrack. How long has this been going on? Oh. What do I say to that? Now you're getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally people are starting to figure out what's going on there. Where do I go from here? By the way, I've had a lot of rants today. They're for Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling all the time. That's the way Cam wants it. Wants you to sponsor Rod's rant. Find everything you need to know about our services, financing, product information, and more at broncoplumbing.com. And please, guys, you're watching there, Bronco, tell Cam we're talking about him today. The poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Capital has dealerships all across the prairies and the state of California. which is Canada's game of the week in the CFL this week? Sask at Winnipeg Friday, Ottawa at BC Friday, or Saturday, one of Montreal at Edmonton or Toronto at Calgary. I voted for Sask at Winnipeg. Huge game. Dan Clark's back. I've been talking to some of the Riders staff. They are, obviously looking forward to the game. Moose, I'm voting for Riders Bombers. Who are you voting for?
Yeah, by a hair, I'll go Riders Bombers. For me right now, the big interesting games are any game that involves Saskatchewan and any game that involves Hamilton. Because right now they're in the battle for the final playoff spot, right? So you're watching Hamilton, you're watching Saskatchewan to see, what'll happen there. Hamilton has a very favorable schedule down the stretch. Saskatchewan does not.
So that's the poll. Clark, who's leading on Facebook? Do you have a sample size or a sample size? Banjo Bowl rematch is leading, but not by a ton. But Winnipeg Riders, that doesn't surprise me that it's leading at all. And my fourth point was the CFL power rankings, but I don't want to, I'm not going to do CFL power rankings. We're going to talk about CFL quarterback carousel right now. And as I said to you on our morning call, sometimes I think maybe we're talking more CFL than a lot of people would like, but what the hey, I'm enjoying it. So let's continue talking about it. Everybody's talking about, I want to tell you something. This is a traumatic experience, clearly, for Bo Levi Mitchell, and I think it's a traumatic experience for Cody Fajardo. And the reason I know that, as a certified mental health and recovery coach, is the definition of trauma is anything your brain can't process. I can't process what's going on right now. And I said this to you. How do you think Bo and Cody feel? Or for that matter, Dane Evans. He is soon to be yesterday's news, from what I understand. The guy took him to 2 Grey Cups. Bo, all-time leading passer, franchise legend. There's the door, Bo. And obviously, Calgary has not come to this conclusion easily. We've talked about that enough. They love Bo Levi Mitchell. Huff does. Dickey does. The staff does. That's what I get. But that, you can't stop change necessarily. You can't stop progress. We hear that all the time. And you can't stop a snowball tumbling down the hill. I said it months ago, and here we are, Darren. So I guess my point, I'm not pushing this narrative. I'm not pushing it at all. But if you listen to my commentary this morning or read it at rodpeterson.com, I'm like, I just want to sit down on the edge of the stream here and think about it for a second. What happened? You know how old people, they sit down? It's not because they're tired. It's because they want to sit down and think for a second. What the hell's going on here? I can't believe it. So it's not me wagging the dog. This is just the messages that I'm getting from the insiders. And by now, people know who I'm talking about. So how do you feel about this quarterback carousel that's spinning already, and we're not even out of the season yet?
Yeah, and it's tough because, you look at Cody. These guys aren't even that old, right? Dane's still a young quarterback. Just took them to 2 Grey Cups. You talked about that. This guy's supposed to be just entering into the prime of his career. Bo, I get it. He's a little bit towards the end of his career, and he's on the other side of 30 and going that way, but still has something left in the tank. And same with Cody. So, it's tough. It's a big shakeup, and it's hard to process because you don't think this day's ever going to come. You don't think it's ever going to happen. You're going to retire for Bo in Calgary and go on to be in their Hall of Fame and do all those things. He probably will be. He should be. But, it's going to be a tough adjustment because he's going to have to find a new home to play football in. And it looks like Cody and Dane Evans are going to have to do the same.
Elam Wilson in the YouTube chat says, Bo Levi should go to Hamilton. They could really use a quarterback. They've been dying for a Grey Cup. Then send him this year. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says this is traumatic for us fans, too. Seeing Bo on the sidelines is really hard, but this is how you stay relevant. Right? And Jeff says Bo is the greatest Stampeder of all time. That's why I think I'm ideally suited to host this show and talk about the things. These are painful things. We need to talk about them because if you suppress them and stuff them down, they're going to come out later and you're going to do crazy things. That's what happens with trauma and stress. And I'm certified in dealing with it. So we all need to sit here and talk about it. Now, from a football perspective, our COO, Lee, who spent 19 seasons working for the Stampeders, has texted me. He's like, why wouldn't the Stamp? I'm shaking my pink drink, by the way. Ted in Red Deer says, did someone slip some caffeine pills in Rod's pink drink today? Love the chat.
How about that?
No. But this stuff gives you energy. You lose weight. It's the magic drink. I've lost 60 pounds on it. I feel great. I'm loving life. And if it's because of pink drink, what the heck? So Lee says, why wouldn't the Stampeders trade Bo Levi before the trade deadline and get something for him? Bo Levi to Sask and Fajardo to Hamilton, and Calgary gets an O-lineman to replace Dennis. Bink, bink, bink. I feel like we don't necessarily ever learn our lesson. What do we know about the CFL? Expect the unexpected. Nothing's going to make sense. Like literally nothing would surprise me anymore in the Canadian Football League. Do you see this happening by chance?
Well, we never talked about this, the three of us in any of our morning meetings. But I saw Lee tweeted that three-way trade, and I started wondering, like, who is he talking to, and might he be onto something? Because we know Lee's got a lot of contacts, and I start wondering if there's any, if there's smoke here, because where there's smoke, there's often fire. But it does make sense. You look at everybody needs to fill a need, right? Calgary needs an O-lineman. Saskatchewan wants a change, potentially a QB. Hamilton wants a change. Well, let's just shuffle the deck. Everybody's happy. I could see it. And, if you're Calgary at this point, we talked about the issue, and same with BC when they were looking at a quarterback to replace Nathan Rourke before they got Vernon Adams. You don't want to trade in the division. But when you look at Saskatchewan, they're not really in the division anymore, right? Their path to the playoffs is through the crossover. So when you're trading Bo Levi to Saskatchewan, it's not to trade against somebody you're going to have to beat in the playoffs. The only time you would potentially now meet them is in the Grey Cup. So I think that takes away a little bit of the risk.
Yeah, well, and Michael Hellman, we've got some new viewers chiming in. Michael Hellman says, I know Taylor Cornelius signed an extension with Edmonton. What are the chances that Bo plays for Edmonton next year? Very possible, but I want to say this. I see this in the NFL, somewhat in the NHL. When your season's done and you're out of it, even though other teams are still playing, you want to start that hype engine. You want to start talking about next year. Edmonton, if they lose this week, they're out. They're officially eliminated, so they need to start talking about next year. Because I kind of sit here and go, why are we talking about this? The most important games are left to be played. One of our former sponsors wrote in yesterday. I won't name him, but he said, it's not going to matter because all of the rider management's going to be gone this offseason. They're going to be replaced, so it's useless to talk about who the new people are going to bring in. And I said, yeah? What should we talk about then? He's like, good point. Leave the fake news and drama to us. Todd Payton, he says, Hurricane Rod. John Ohm. By the way, I'm looking for my gong. I dropped it here on the floor. John Ohm says, Rod is on fire. Great conversation. Stephen in North Dakota says, Rod is thunderstruck by Ian the Hurricane. His lightning bolts are high voltage. That's from from Stephen in North Dakota. I'll say this, by the way. People laugh and say, what do the listeners in Atlanta care about the CFL stuff, or even South Florida? What they're saying to me, what I'm getting in the mail from the viewers is, we have no idea what you're talking about, but it's so damn entertaining, I can't turn it off. And that's the secret sauce right there. Moving on quickly here, just to get some points. Point 5, speaking of Hurricane Ian, I said we were going to talk about it. 3 Sunshine State universities took steps on Tuesday to salvage home football games as Hurricane Ian approached. Florida moved its game against Eastern Washington from Saturday to Sunday. Central Florida did the same with its game against SMU. South Florida relocated its Saturday game against East Carolina from Tampa Bay to Boca Raton. That's, again, just down the road from me. The NFL's Tampa Bay Buccaneers relocated their football ops to the Miami area Tuesday in preparation for Sunday night's game against the against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buccaneers are expected to practice at the Dolphins facility in Miami Gardens beginning today. And the Dolphins play at Cincinnati on Thursday night. They changed their travel plans for today. They're just going to leave a couple hours earlier. Coming up later on in hour 2, Oronde Gadsden will join us from the Dolphins broadcast crew, their 15th all-time leading receiver. talk more about this. Point 6, I got to get this in because the fans said, don't stop talking about junior hockey, and why would I? I love it so much. It's in my DNA. The viewer yesterday in Oregon was upset that he can't go watch Connor Bedard play in Portland this year. And I just wonder, is this coming back to bite them? Because I was in the league way back when the owners stopped the full interlocking. We used to play the BC division, the U.S. division every year. We loved it. It's 21 days on the road, but that stopped because those U.S. owners didn't want us in their buildings because they're like, we'd rather play Tri-City down here 14 times in Portland because we'll get a bigger crowd than have you come in with the Regina Pats or the Moose Jaw Warriors because our fans don't even know what a Moose Jaw is. And now I feel like it's biting them in the ass. So do you think the WHL owners should regret that because Connor Bedard would fill the building, or is it just a one-off, it's a generational thing, and they don't regret that decision to not have full interlocking? You've got a minute.
Unfortunately, I think it's just a one-off. I think it's a generational thing. I think they'd all wish this year that they could have it because it would sell at all the buildings. But, you know, for every other year, I think they're happy because you're right. There's not the rivalry side of it. It would be nice to see every team in the building because you don't want to, like, what happens if you got to play Regina in a WHL championship, right? But it is a cost thing too, right? It costs a lot of money to make that road trip every year. And we've seen revenues for these teams going down, attendance going the wrong way. So I do think overall they're probably okay with it. But these fans, you know, would love to be treated to Connor Bedard.
It's a good point, and it is a money thing in business. Just to say it's just business certainly allows you to wipe your hands of a lot of things. Wow. But sometimes what's right is what's right. And we'll talk about that more in hour 2. Lots of questions coming in, but we got to let you go. Thanks, Moose.
Thank you.
Justin Dunk next. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
902-518-3033, the number to text us, 902-518-3033. Jeff Caldwell in Oregon says, my bags are packed for the 9-hour drive to Kelowna. That's to go watch Connor Bedard. Well, how bad do you want to see him? Ryan Thomas in Regina says, John Massey's right, Rod. Even your explanation makes no sense. Just like saying the Pats have to trade Connor Bedard, maybe come back to Regina and watch the Pats before saying they have no chance to compete this year. Ryan, chill, brother. Chill. It ain't going to happen. And I hope you can follow along with what I'm saying. Flames are the best team now. Oilers will win the division. A lot of things going to happen in between, just like what's going to happen between now and the WHL trade deadline. So don't get your panties in a bunch. And for the CFL fans, let's bring in Justin Dunk now. Let's bring in Justin Dunk. Boy, I tell you what, JD, I don't know about you, but the Jake Mayer contract extension set forth a real, to me, a domino effect on my phone. Man, with the trade deadline coming up in a week, what are you seeing? What are you hearing?
I don't necessarily think that Bo Levi Mitchell gets moved unless it's for a package that John Hufnagel and Dave Dickinson just can't say no to. And this Mayer contract extension was coming. It had been talked about for a little while there in Calgary. It became obvious when he started a bunch of games and Mitchell had went to the bench. And really, Taylor Cornelius and the deal that he signed with the Elks set the table for Mayer to actually get more money out of old man Hufnagel there, who doesn't like to get off his wallet too often. So that's what got the deal done. But I think the entire time, Mitchell's question in terms of where he was going to play in 2023 was always open and still is. But now that it's finalized, it seems to have taken on a life of its own.
Well, yes, but I mean, I'm following what Danny Austin's saying on Twitter. He covers the Stampeders for the Calgary Sun. He's like, you know, what did he say? A few weeks ago, I would have said there's no way Bo's being moved, but after today, I'm starting to think it could happen. I think the question is here, what does Bo do? I guess if you're saying he's not going to get moved this year, is he going to retire? Is he going to be playing next year? I can't see this guy riding off into the sunset now, the way this is ending, and unless you know something I don't.
No, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove that he can still play at a high level, and he's an ultimate competitor. So I think he's going to want to play for at least a little while longer, and people will talk about, well, yeah, he could go on the TSN broadcast panel, and why doesn't he just do that now? But that's always going to be there for him. So no matter when he hangs him up, he can do that, and I think he wants to go show the Stampeders that, hey, I can still play at a high level and potentially come back into your house and your division and beat you guys and lead a team to a Grey Cup. So I do believe Bo Levi Mitchell will be playing football in the CFL somewhere other than Calgary in 2023.
What do you think the chances are that it is Saskatchewan?
You know, it's funny, Roddy. I went on our good friend Tim McAuliffe's show, Tim and Friends on Sportsnet on Friday. And after that Taylor Cornelius contract was done, I started to list off the landing spots that I had heard for Mitchell. And you got to cross Edmonton off the list, all right? Mitchell doesn't necessarily want to go play for Chris Jones, and they're giving Cornelius around $400,000 in hard money. That essentially makes him the starter next year in Edmonton, barring an unforeseen change or a trade. So there might be a little chance there, but I doubt Mitchell's going to Edmonton. The top contender to me, talking to people around the league, canvassing coaches and general managers and scouts, is the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Now, that can be changed by how Cody Fajardo plays in the final 4 weeks of the season, but the Roughriders had mild interest in Mitchell back in 2019 when he was a free agent, ultimately decided to return to Calgary and sign that multi-million-dollar contract extension with the Stampeders. But you look at the Rough Riders. Currently, assistant general manager Kyle Carson is there. He came up in the Stampeders program as part of that organization, knows Bo Levi Mitchell well, and depending what happens with the coaching staff there in Saskatchewan, there could be other pieces that entice Mitchell to end up with the Rough Riders in terms of being familiar with the coaching staff that ultimately takes over that team in 2023. So you look at the other possibilities, and they really reside in the East Division. Zach Collaros, yes, is a free agent in Winnipeg, but the Blue Bombers are going to want to re-sign him. And if that doesn't necessarily happen, I think he follows Mike O'Shea wherever he potentially goes. So the Toronto Argonauts are a real possibility for Mitchell. He has that relationship with Ryan Dinwiddie, but Mitchell is smart, Roddy. You know this. He knows that if he goes to a market like Toronto, he becomes a nobody. Even though he's a big name in the CFL, he'll get lost in that market. So I think when we look at this, we have to consider that Mitchell's a really smart guy, and he understands, and you would know this very well, that if he goes to Saskatchewan, that there's much more money to be made off the field. And if he led that team to a Grey Cup, he would be a legend in two of the best CFL cities in the country, Calgary and Saskatchewan.
Okay, well, I'm not quite done on that. Remind me to ask you about Hamilton and Dane Evans. The guy takes them to 2 Grey Cups. He wins the battle over Jeremiah Masoli to be the number 1 guy, and now it looks like his days are numbered there. But just back to the Bull thing for a second. People lighting me up a month ago saying he's not going anywhere. He's staying in Calgary. And now this, whether it's this year or next, he's gone no matter what. He's 32. Cody Fajardo's 30. Like, where's Fajardo fit into all of this, Justin? Let's be honest.
That's the major question mark left to be answered in the final 4 games of the season. But let's say Fajardo gets the Rough Riders in the playoff and maybe they win the West semifinal somehow, or they win an East semifinal and lose in the East final, okay? I don't necessarily see that happening, but even if it does, and you're sitting there and whatever regime is in charge of the Rough Riders at the time, do you decide to re-sign Fajardo, or do you go get a guy that's a 2-time Grey Cup champion, 2-time MOP, commands respect the instant he walks into the room and brings a championship culture to your organization, not just the locker room, but the organization? That's no shot at Fajardo, but he hasn't proven that he can do it yet. And we should still say there is that opportunity for Fajardo to do it this season. So Fajardo leads the Rough Riders to a Grey Cup, and there's probably no chance that Bo Levi Mitchell ends up in Saskatchewan. But these are factors that are going to be looked at based on what plays out here in the final part of the CFL season.
So do you expect anything, quarterback or otherwise, leading up to or on the trade deadline on October 5th?
It never really gets going until the deadline in terms of some of these moves. Some teams like to be proactive. We've seen in the last year especially, or a couple seasons before that, maybe make some trades before the deadline. But as we get closer to it, keep it locked at 3doutnation.com because we'll have the latest on that front. You know, other than Mitchell at the quarterback position, it's hard to see a potential QB getting traded unless an injury happens this week.
All right. Hey, lastly, you're in the booth with our guy, Darren DuPont. Not always the same game, but you're calling Canada West games. What's your schedule this weekend?
I'm with DuPont in Regina. I'll be flying out on Friday, bringing my nephew Liam with me to experience his first TV broadcast. We've got the Cardigans going, so the boys will be looking sharp.
All right. Sounds good. And Bison's at Sask this weekend, right?
That's right. Friday night. Manitoba at Saskatchewan, Saturday afternoon at Leibel Field. Come out and check it out, man. The Alberta Golden Bears at the Rams. Eli Hetlinger is a great young quarterback for the University of Alberta going against the Regina Rams, who are now, in my mind, cementing themselves as the legitimate competitor in the Canada West to Saskatchewan and are nationally ranked and should stay in those rankings all season long. I believe they're in at 6 again, and that's right around where I had them on my ballot. So this Rams team, very intriguing, has a bunch of CFL prospects on it, some draftees as well. Ryder Varga, one of their inside linebackers, was a pick of the BC Lions last year. Anthony Bennett has been doing damage off the edge, has 5 sacks in 4 games for the Rams, so he's been a terror. Bennett Stusek had a couple touchdowns last week from young quarterback Noah Pelche. So it's a very intriguing group that head coach Mark McConkey has put together.
Justin, thanks for this, man. Have a great week. Travel safe.
You bet, Roddy. Thanks, buddy.
3 Down Nation's Justin Duncan from Canada West TV. Sports update coming up and viewer takeover on the way. Dolphins great Oronde Gadsden. It's the RP show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM-certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big, and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of time. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the final segment of Hour 1, and we're going to get into a sports update and then maybe some comments from our viewers. But people are testy today on various things. Yeah, the Connor Bedard potential trade. My contention, the Flames are the best team in the NHL. What? Why is this hitting a nerve with you people? Maybe investigate that. Sports update, Pacific FC from the Canadian Premier League ended a 5-match winless skid with a 2-0 victory over the Halifax Wanderers at Wanderers grounds on Tuesday night. With the loss, Halifax as well as York United are now eliminated from playoff contention. Think about that. Soccer team from Victoria, BC, all the way to Halifax. That is a big road trip. New York Yankees slugger Aaron Judge is set to try again tonight to make home run history at Rogers Center. He has 60 home runs, just shy of the American League record of 61 set by Roger Maris. Judge and the Yankees take on the Blue Jays in the final game of their 3-game series tonight. The Yankees clinched the pennant last night. Toronto sending Mitch White to the mound against the Yankees' Garrett Cole. This sounds like a doozy. How about this one? The federal government is advising Canadians playing in Russia's Continental Hockey League to get out of the country. There are 48 Canadians currently playing in the KHL. Global Affairs Canada first issued an advisory for Canadians to avoid travel to Russia and Belarus on February 24th when the Russian invasion of Ukraine began. The agency says its ability to provide consular services in Russia may become extremely limited. This is an interesting story, and I would suggest you look this up. It's deeper than just what I read here. Again, the Canadian government advising players, Canadian players, in Russia and the KHL to get out of there. Agent Rich Winter. I read this story this morning. Agent Rich Winter, who I know, he's not a friend of mine or anything, but I've met him. He's like, our players have the right to make a living wherever they want. They need to provide for their families. And this is an interesting story. On one hand, if you were Theron Fleury, you would say, here's the Canadian government again, trying to control the people. And on the other hand, here's the government saying, guys, we can't speak for if things break down there, that we can get you out. So I think they've made it clear, the Canadian government, you guys should come home, but the players are like, no, we're good. I hope this doesn't end up in a don't say we didn't warn you situation. Anyways, this sports update for Edo Japan. Edo Japan's fast and friendly service plus online ordering options is easy and convenient when you're on the go. And like I say, I advise people to back up from the ledge. If me picking the Calgary Flames to be number 1 in the NHL going into the season has you unhinged, maybe take a few breaths and look in the mirror. From the viewers on the text line, Larry in Medicine Hat says, today is the 50th anniversary of Paul Henderson's goal. Can't help but think God was in that Summit Series, as well as Henderson's life. God's in everybody's life, Larry, you know that. But yes, it was a great day, and thank you for pointing that out. Todd in Red Deer writes in, and he says, it amazes me when you say people tune in for hockey, CFL, or whatever news. I tune in because I never know what the hell we're talking about. Keep up. Last minute of play in hour 1. Todd says, keep up the great work, RP show. Ryan Chevrier on the 902 line says, I definitely hope we get Bo Levi Mitchell. Signed, Ryan from Regina, Sask. Phil in Dauphin, Manitoba says, it's hump day. My answer for the poll question, which is Canada's game of the week, he says, is the Battle of the Prairies or Banjo Bowl 2. Both teams coming off losses. One team's battling for a playoff spot, and the other's trying to prove that they're the baddest dog in the yard. Yeah, we got an hour to talk about that. I predict that's going to be spicy. Big guest, too. One of the biggest we've ever had coming up in hour 2. Oronde Gadsden, the man who caught Dan Marino's last ever touchdown pass in the NFL, will be with us. And hopefully we're still here. Stick around after this break, everybody.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
I gotta hit the beat.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a fan of Patrick Roy are you? I'm an 11 out of 10, and the literal translation of Roy is king. Part of the reason I love him so much is that we are very similar, and my guess is the book on Patrick Roy would be very similar to what the book is on me. He's uncontrollable. My dad would be proud of that fact.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. What a show it's been, and it continues to be. It's hour 2, if you're just tuning in, on various platforms on which we air. Game Plus Television nationally, in the United States as well, in 31 states. Maybe you're listening to the podcast. Maybe you're listening to WQEE Radio in Atlanta, 99.1 FM. Glad to have you. Just one segment here with Moose. Maybe he'll come back later. Let's bring him in now, if you don't mind, Darren Moose Dupont, because in the next segment, Oronde Gadsden's going to be with us. And the people that follow my social media and what I'm doing, I was with some pretty cool guys, some influential pro football guys, and they opened the door to bringing on the guy that caught Dan Marino's last ever touchdown pass on the National Football League, the greatest Dolphin ever. Oronde Gadsden is an analyst now on Dolphins Radio. He's going to be with us next segment. I can't believe this, Darren. This is, I guess, I don't like when news and sports morph, right? We've talked about that a lot over the years. But I brought up near the end that the Canadian government is warning those 48 players that are playing in Russia and Belarus and the KHL to get home, get out of there. And at least one agent, because he's the one I saw quoted, Rich Winter, is saying our players have the right to provide for their families and play wherever they want. And that's all true, too. And our viewers are writing in. Jennifer from the Four Seasons says they're telling every Canadian to get out of there. Politicians as well. from Darren in Salt Lake City. He says, it seems to be a no-brainer. Brittany Griner? Hello? Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, I would listen to the government in this case. And from Patrolman Pete in Winnipeg, he says, despite what the wise and all-knowing Theo Fleury has to say on the subject, sometimes the government does actually give good and useful advice. I don't want to start a holy war. I'm just saying if I was, this is me, I wouldn't be going to Russia. That's just me. What do you think about this?
I wouldn't be going either, unfortunately. At the end of the day, we have to, do what we need to do for our own situation, and nobody can really understand somebody else's situation and the decisions that they make. But we do need to understand that people are making the best decisions for themselves. It is good for the government to give the warning, for sure, and encourage people to come home and hopefully help and open those doors and let them know. But if they choose to stay, then obviously there's a reason that they're staying over there.
We've got a lot of viewer comments, and I have to say this, man. I mentioned it last hour. I'll say it again now. This is the golden corral of sports talk. It's America's finest buffet, and that's why everybody comes here, because we've, have a lot of toppings on the table, obviously. But I feel like if I want to sit down and just eat spaghetti all night and not eat the catfish and the cornbread and the steak and the pizza, that's my choice. For $13.99, it's hard to go wrong. And what are we charging here? Oh, yeah, nothing. So we'll talk about what we want to talk about. And I said, for those that are upset, I haven't got a death threat yet for predicting the Calgary Flames or saying they're the number one team in the NHL, but I feel like it's close. Like our COO, Lee Genier, said to me, we were talking about this, he goes, there's a lot of angry people in the world. They're saying some really mean things about me, Darren, over a damn hockey team. John Ohm in Winnipeg's watching. He says, sports is life. Life is sports. Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. I do.
You do?
But to an extent, that I don't. Sports is such a small part of life and such a small part. But, yes, it makes a large part up about what we do, and it's a great escape. But there's so much to life outside of sports. But it's fun when we can get immersed in it. And when we're immersed in it, it's like it's the only thing that matters. It's the only thing in life until you step out of it. So as long as you can strike that balance, everything's good.
You said it very well. Because it's not really real, except for the people that are in it. Bo Levi Mitchell is going through some serious stuff right now. And frankly, I think Cody Fajardo is too. But you know what? I would like to think people aren't losing sleep over that. But I guess they do. Again, Oronde Gadsden coming up in the next segment. He's going to talk about some Hurricane Ian. He's going to talk about the Dolphins at the Bengals on Thursday night. Is this the best Dolphins team ever? He's spent 6 seasons with them, by the way. I'm just so excited to have a chat with him. A lot of really cool doors opening up down here in South Florida. And this is one of them. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it might be hotter in Calgary today than Florida. Might hit 30. And he's talking Celsius, of course. I'm hearing that from everybody in Alberta. And even you there in the Bermuda Triangle of the NHL, it's getting close to 30 Celsius, right? Yeah. You're running around with your shirt off like John Lynch, huh?
That's the plan for this afternoon. I'm not that far from John. I might take the 25-minute walk and go see if he's there without his shirt on, too.
You should do that. Kevin the Medium has showed up. He says, I call it passion. People are passionate about sports, and that's not a bad thing. Not at all. And when we had COVID and we didn't have sports, that was a bad thing. But, Kevin, I think we can all agree, some people take it too far, and they ruin it for everybody. Like I had to tell this guy that was texting me last hour to settle the hell down about the Flames thing. He's clearly he's an Oilers fan. And then about the Pats trading Connor Bedard and some of the things that he said about that. Now, I'm not going to go any further into this, but I'm like, I got my opinion. Chill out. It's like, what's that gif? I love that gif of that girl with the Coke bottle glasses. Triggered! That's where I'm saying.
Yes.
And when I come out of an arena and my car's vandalized, the hood's been destroyed, when I'm in pro football stadiums on the road and our equipment vehicles have been vandalized? Can we not agree? Some people take it to... I'm advising people to chill the hell out and ask how much it affects their life. There's a balance, right?
Yeah, there needs to be a balance for sure. But it's that passion that is why sports is so great and why people spend money and why it's such a big industry, because you get so invested in it that the lines blur between what's real and what's not, and between, this your team and what's your real life. And I think, some people can't see the difference between what's real and what's not.
And I think more than anything, before, we get right into the track of talking sports here, I'm giving my opinion that the Pats should trade Connor Bedard. To freak out, you can't accept somebody else's opinion? Really? Or I'm reporting that people are saying Bo Levi Mitchell's going to sign in Saskatchewan next year, and people are all upset about that. We got to do our jobs. It's an opinion show. Allie in Texarkana says, Bonanza is better than Golden Corral. What would you say, Darren? You've been to both.
Now, there's a poll question. My goodness. It's been so long since I've been to a Bonanza. But also, Rod, as you've stated, I haven't been to a Golden Corral worth a damn, or a good one, right? I've been to Golden Corral, and they're all good, and Bonanza's all good. But I got to go to a good one first, a good Golden Corral, before I can decide.
I feel like the one in Houston you were at, you got let down. It was like a minor league Golden Corral, and for that I apologize. Just it didn't
Golden
have all
Corral
the
light.
Tremendous. Yeah, and they shouldn't do that. They should put that
How's
on
the one in your
sign.
neck of the woods?
Very good. It's in Boynton Beach, the home of Danny Barrett. It's outstanding. Ever seen a buffet where they let you take home a doggy bag? They do, man, at the Golden Corral. Yeah, they do at the Golden Corral. You can take it home. It's unbelievable. They break all the rules. And Kevin the Medium says, now I need a keg steak. He ordered Edo Japan the other day because of what we were talking about, which, by the way, back on track. The poll question for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center today. It's Wednesday, so we always have it. What is Canada's game of the week in the CFL? Here are your four options. Sask Rough Riders at Winnipeg Friday. Ottawa Red Blacks at BC Friday. Montreal at Edmonton Saturday, or Toronto at Calgary. And it's actually a pretty close vote. Leading the way is Bombers Riders, followed closely by Argos Stamps. What has like 0 votes, 0%, last I saw, was Montreal Edmonton. And the reason I bring up the Golden Corral thing is it's just everybody wants something different. The NHL regular season hasn't started yet, okay? So when it does, we'll go a lot deeper into that. And we did cover last hour about Winnipeg Jets coach Rick Bowness was not happy at all despite his team's win last night. By the way, the reason he wasn't happy was he said we had a lot of bad habits. One, for instance, is too long as shifts. How many years do you want to put on it? 1 year, 2 year, 3 or 4 years before Jets fans come back and go, oh, damn, Rod was right. How long do you think?
I wouldn't stay up at night thinking about it. I think we're looking at over under of 2.5 years.
Oh, I hope it's less than that. We're not giving the keg any free advertising. Kevin the Medium says, by the way, it's 11:11. You know what that means. It's 11 minutes after 11. No, Kevin.
Beautiful.
Means we're on the right track. Jeremy Shackleton writes in. He says, what are people so upset about Bo Levi and Sask over Fajardo? Bo's a proven winner in the league. Fajardo still tosses milk jugs like his college days. I don't know what they're so upset about. And just with people getting too serious, taking the sports too seriously, Wayne in British Columbia says, I used to be that guy. Back about 20 to 30 years ago. Luckily, I've chilled out a lot in the last 10 plus years, but I still love sports. But I don't take it so seriously. No, Wayne, but I think you got a long ways to go. And I can't imagine what you would have been like 15, 20 years ago, because I saw his comment here a few weeks ago. He goes, the Rough Riders are taking an us against the world mentality. Yeah, how's that worked out? Like, let's, again, back on track. Riders trying to get back on track. Coming off a bye week. Dan Clark's back at center. They're going into Winnipeg. Like, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers might be able to beat the Houston Texans, for the love of Pete. Like, it's a literal let's pray to keep it close game Friday. Do you see Saskatchewan turning it around? Yeah, I guess they could make the playoffs, but it's a steep hill. Obviously, the talk of Bo Levi coming to Saskatchewan isn't helping. I don't care because I'm not the Rider guy anymore, and this is what people are saying. But do you see Saskatchewan salvaging this season?
There's a path there. I talk about paths to victory. There's a path there. I mean, there's enough talent on this team if they got it all figured out and everybody was healthy for this team to be okay. And they showed pretty well at Labor Day. And I know Labor Day is a bit of an anomaly, especially when it comes to Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, but they played pretty well in that game and should have won that game if it wasn't for some coaching mistakes. So yes, there are some paths, but there's not a lot. There's not a lot. And all Hamilton has to do is play okay down the stretch, beat Ottawa a couple of times, and you might never get the chance to get into the playoffs. So it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, and I guess the point is people need to understand, you need to pay close attention to what I'm saying. If you read my columns or what I'm saying on the air here, or even what I'm putting on social media, there's what you see on television, that's the games. There's what you read in the media and see, that's what they want you to believe. And then there's the real undercurrent of what's going on. And these are the guys that are calling me. And they're talking about what quarterbacks are going to be in what places next year, what coaches are going to be, and GMs in what places, because these guys think 2, 3, 4 steps ahead of everybody else. I often say when the fans are screaming that there's a problem with a return unit or offensive line play, the coaches saw it 5, 6, 7 weeks ago. Okay? So you're not telling the offensive coordinator anything he doesn't already know. You know what I mean? So, By the way, from our viewers, Corey May is clearly in Winnipeg. He says Mark Scheifele taking 1-minute shifts last night was an improvement from seasons past. Hopefully he can get it down a little more. Well, that was one specific thing Rick Bowness said he didn't like about the Jets game last night, despite the fact that they won. We're going to pause. Darren, do you want to come back a little later or no?
Of course.
Okay, good. We'd love to have you. I just didn't know what your schedule was. We're going to take a pause here. Yeah, appreciate that. Take a pause here. Maybe come back with a sports update. And Oronde Gadsden is lined up to join us next. Dolphins great radio analyst. Big week for them. And as you can see, a big week in South Florida. A lot to get to him with. It's the RP Show on Game Plus Television. We're live streaming on YouTube and on the radio. Metro Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
I gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
RP show continues. So far, so good. We're like an hour, 20 minutes through this day as we try to avoid Hurricane Ian or severe tropical storm effects here in South Florida. You guys tell me when Oronde Gadsden's ready to go. And while we do, I just want to introduce him to our viewers. We talked about him being a Dolphins great, the last guy to catch Dan Marino's final touchdown pass. Played at Winston-Salem State. Undrafted into the NFL, signed to the Dallas Cowboys, won Super Bowl 30 there with the Cowboys. Spent 98-03 with the Miami Dolphins, and there he became the 15th all-time leading receiver in franchise history. And as I mentioned, caught Dan Marino's last touchdown pass. Oronde's first ever reception in the National Football League went for a touchdown. So we can talk to him about that, and now he's on Dolphins radio as the pre- and post-game analyst. But Clark's telling me that they're having some connection issues. What's going on? It's with Oronde's phone or something? We have him connected, but he can't see us. Is that the deal? So he's not fully connected. Well, that is unfortunate. So please let me know the second that we do. And if we have to bring the Moose back in, we will. Very much looking forward to this interview with Oronde, because there's a lot to get to. The Dolphins changing their travel schedule to leave earlier today to go to Cincinnati for their Week 4 game, Thursday Night Football at the Bengals. Are the Dolphins the best team in the NFL? And I actually listened to Oronde for the first time, tuned him in on the pregame of the Bills game here on Sunday. So we got to get this set up. While we do that, I will do a sports update. The Royal Canadian Mint is commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Summit Series by issuing a $2 celebrating Canada's hockey triumph over the Soviet Union. What is it, $2 bill? Or a $2 coin? It doesn't say. It was on this day in 1972 when Paul Henderson scored the series-winning goal on Russian netminder Vladislav Tretiak in Moscow. The Summit Series toonie, there you go, enters circulation today. 4 Canadian teams are in action in the National Hockey League preseason tonight. The Montreal Canadiens, who are coming off a 2-1 loss to New Jersey on Monday, visit the Toronto Maple Leafs, while the Oilers and Flames renew the Battle of Alberta at the Saddledome. And if I may, for the Alberta viewers and the hockey fans there, whoever wins tonight, it will not determine who's the best team in Alberta, okay? With what happens at the Saddledome tonight. My guess, it'll be a huge crowd on television, but we need to pump the brakes a little bit. They've been waiting for this since Game 5 last year of Round 2. It's the start of the season that they're waiting for, not the preseason game tonight. It'll be fun, but I'm just saying people need to chill. Man, are they geeked up over that. No more or less so than the National Football League down here, because people are people. It's the way they are. Speaking of the NFL, Cleveland Browns star defensive end Myles Garrett suffered a sprained shoulder, strained biceps, and minor cuts when he flipped his Porsche in a frightening single-car accident on Monday. Despite the injuries, Garrett has not been ruled out Sunday against the Falcons. The Browns say doctors concluded Myles Garrett did not have any fractures, and he has cleared concussion protocol. Very similar to Tua, sounds like. The Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Canadian Football League announced today that the 109th Grey Cup game is sold out. More than 33,000 are expected to attend the CFL Championship game at Regina's Mosaic Stadium on November 20th. Regina last hosted the Grey Cup in 2013 when the hometown Roughriders defeated the Hamilton Tiger Cats 45-23. This sports update is presented by Ballers Rec Room, your home of slow pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday. Watch for details on our Grey Cup party at Ballers. Also for the Tap Brewhouse and drive-through liquor store, and for Red Bull Canada. Red Bull gives you wings. Okay, it's been 3 minutes, Clark. What's the update? Okay, so they are fast and furious trying to connect with Oronde Gadsden down here in South Florida. There's issues with Wi-Fi. There's issues with cellular data. There's clearly a lot of issues. So it's just you and me. Well, they're telling us that the Moose is logged in, so we can bring the Moose. Hey, why not, Moose? You were sitting there. You were just waiting to watch the interview with Oronde. And
been here the whole time.
You've been there the whole time? You never logged out? Well,
never logged out.
Listen, I'll say this, and I don't know how this came up. Corey May, one of our viewers watching in Winnipeg, says, as Rod just mentioned, there's always a line. His personal accounts were full of threats. It's not right. I'm not sure to what he's referring, but we'll come back on that. We have Oronde now. So, Darren, we'll see you back next segment, right, or overtime. Thank you. All right, Oronde Gadsden with us, Dolphins great, radio analyst. Oronde, thank you for your patience. There we go. And thank you for joining us today. And there we go, man. Hey, before we get into the big Week 4 matchup, Dolphins and the Bengals, would you please tell me how you're doing? Hurricane Ian, South Florida, tropical storm. How's your week been, sir?
It's been kind of rough. Going from the game, I fly to Syracuse to see my son play, come back. We had a big Dolphins win on Sunday. And now we're getting ready for a hurricane with the Dolphins playing tomorrow. So it's been kind of hectic. School's been out for the last 2 days. And so thank God everybody's home and getting ready to go.
Well, I do want to ask you about your son, by the way, and I have to throw out a thank you to Ash, our mutual friend, for lining this interview up. But I'm glad you're safe so far, and continued good luck the rest of the week. And I do want to get to your son in a second, but just about that Dolphins game on Sunday, man. How much fun was that for you to be in the venue? What a game.
Man, it was a great game. Started off kind of slow for us Dolphin fans, and then it kind of picked up. And then the Tua situation, but he showed that he was a trooper no matter which way you think it happened. He came back and delivered the strike to Waddle that was really the game winner. That play alone, I think it was 3rd and 22, and he put the ball between two safeties. Waddle caught it. Buffalo had a lot of things going. I don't know whether it was clock management or whatever happened, because a lot of the guys are from here, South Florida. All the running backs for Buffalo are from South Florida. I coached one, Isaiah McKenzie. So they had a lot of South Florida influence on the team, but it worked out for the Dolphins.
Well, I want to ask you this. The Bills had players on IVs at halftime, as you know, and then after the game. There were fans on the concourse getting fanned because it was very hot. Right. It was very hot. Right. But they're coming out of the game. People are saying the Bills, they're still the best team in the AFC, if not the NFL. How do you feel about that contention? Or where do you put the Dolphins in that list?
I mean, they got to be up there at this point. I mean, we put together, and I guess it's the more the opponents you play, how Buffalo would think that, and that's okay. It's their team. They played the Rams and they played the Titans. We played the Ravens and the Bills, so we feel pretty good about where we are. Obviously, we know who runs the engine that runs both teams of the quarterback. I mean, we can talk Tyreek Hill all we want, but if Tua doesn't get him the ball, there's no Tyreek Hill. We know Josh Allen is probably the best, if not one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and everybody respects that. But, it's tough. Even when I heard it come across the desk on Sunday afternoon that there'd be out 4 secondary starters, Ed Oliver and the center, that's a lot to overcome. That's a lot to overcome. And it was probably the center being the most important one. We did see a few fumble snaps, and he had to dive on one when they were going in to score, so that hurt. Ed Oliver wasn't there, so the run game was kind of porous. We understand the communication on the back end would be a little iffy because of, young guys back there, but they held Tyreek Hill in check pretty much. It was just, the Waddle catch and a few other probably incidents on the Buffalo side that probably hurt, so we're excited about that. I think they should be in the top 5, the Dolphins, at least right now.
For sure. Was that you on the Dolphins pregame on WQAM? They were listing off the Bills starters, and I think it was you going, never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
The secondary guys, you usually know who plays, but the secondary guys, I thought Poyer was going to play, but those guys that they were naming, I hadn't heard of them. I wasn't privy to them. And but they held their own. I'm not going to say they got, listen, the week before against the Ravens, and Peters was out there, and a few other starters were out there. One had 190 and one had 171. So they did not do that on Sunday. So those young guys should feel real good about themselves going into the next game against the Ravens.
Just lastly, before we move on to talk about your career for a second and your son, don't let me forget about the second, Oronde the second. I don't know if you were watching Josh Allen's eyes in the game. I've never seen him look so confused. And I was sitting with Agent Gil Scott. He's like, how about this Dolphins defense? They were ferocious up front. They covered on the back end, and I never seen Josh Allen look so confused in any game. The Dolphins defense never gets any credit.
Well, I think they get credit locally. We know defense wins championships, and I think if you can rewind until last year when they played the Ravens on Thursday night, and they figured that the zero blitz would work for the Dolphins because we had pretty good cornerbacks. They have instituted pretty consistently since then, and it's worked. If you're not ready to go to your second and third read, it's going to be pretty tough. Obviously, we have X over there at one corner, and he's going to, he was going to be from the jump, from play one, and he's going to follow Diggs all over the field. So you had to expect, Gabriel Davis and some other people to make some impact because X was going to shut down Diggs. They were going to cancel each other out. Let me not say shut down, but they were cancel each other out. And so you had to go to the other guys, and we beat up the other guys and apply pressure. And so that's kind of confusion you see Josh Allen has.
Well, your story is unbelievable. I hope that you do motivational speaking. In every regard, starting a clothing line before anybody else was doing it, and the injuries you've suffered, undrafted guy, all that. But when Ash was telling me about you on the boat on Saturday, he's like, Oronde's got to come on your show. He's the guy that caught Dan Marino's last touchdown pass. That's a pretty cool thing to be known for. How often does that come up in your life?
It comes up now as a trivia question. We can go to certain places, even on the radio, to win some prizes. We can go to do trivia at a local bar watching the game, and it'll come up pretty much. But unfortunately, the record's been broken so much. It was real good when it was 420, and Dan was on top of everything, and that was the best record. But 420 has been surpassed. many times and probably will be, but it's a big deal here in South Florida. Everybody loves Dan Marino. He's still a big part of the community. He works for the Dolphins, and so to know that I caught his last touchdown was a big deal. Joe Rose, who does the morning show down here in Miami, caught his first touchdown. So we got the balls together, and we got it in a safe place.
Well, and I heard you two on there together. Joe didn't even want to talk about the game Sunday. He wanted to talk about your kid, Oronde Gadsden II, who had, I think, 173 yards for Syracuse on Saturday. Like, is he going to outshine his old man or what? What's ahead for Junior?
Well, that's the plan. That's the plan. We always want our kids to do better than we did, and he's taken to it. When he came out of high school, he had a few other choices, but he wanted to go play for Dino. Dino impressed him, and so he's been doing that. And this year, they got a little philosophy than they did last year. But everybody wants to stop Sean Tucker, the running back, which gives him a little bit more leeway at the receiver position. He loves it. First thing everybody asks is, how's he doing in the cold? He's adapted fine being a South Florida boy all the way up there in Syracuse, but he loved it. He's been having some good games, and I'm just keeping my fingers crossed and praying for him that he can finish out the season just the way he's going right now. But I am happy and proud of him. But the plan is for him to be – he's faster than me for sure. So the plan is for him to be better than I am for sure.
Well, I tell all our viewers that to keep him on their radar and be cheering for him and praying for him, too. You clearly did a great job, Oronde.
Please.
So congratulations on that. Yeah, so far. And I guess I'd love to ask you about your clothing line and all the – maybe we'll do that next time. I got to wind this up by asking you about the Thursday night game, Dolphins at Bengals. Is it too short of a week, given what all the Dolphins have been through, or what's your read on that game?
It's tough because as a player – you think we played 90 plays on Sunday in the heat, and we have to come right back out on a short week because you don't get the normal rest and day off you would during a regular week, and you have to go on the road. So that's going to be the first issue. Second issue is probably going to see Tua's health and how he is. Obviously, he's the engine that drives the show, especially at this point. And so if he's okay to go, you step across the lines, you're saying that you're 100%. So everybody has to know that. And so if he's out there, that gives us a shot. But the travel and the X factor, the caveat, the variable in this is the hurricane. So everybody's thinking about their family and how everybody's doing to keep everybody safe. So that's going to be added pressure. But once you get out there and get on the field on Thursday night, I think they'll be able to go. Once again, the defense has to play stellar because the offense did have 90 plays. So it's going to be tough. I'm going to be optimistic because I think I want the Dolphins and Syracuse both to go undefeated through the first 4 or 5 games. So I am going to pick the Dolphins because of this is the reason you get Tyreek Hill, because he can make it change in just one play. And so if your defense keeps it close, one 4-yard pass can turn into 80-yard touchdown.
Well, it's going to be a great game. We know that. Oronde, stay safe. You got a bunch of new fans. I want to let you know that. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Yeah, all right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, the great Oronde Gadsden, one of the Dolphins' top receivers of all time, 15th as a matter of fact. And, great guy, does a great job. Follow him on WQAM and give him a look up on social media. The Moose joins us next, and viewer takeover will start it early. I can answer some of your questions here. It's been a big football day. It's the RP Show on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and WQEE, your home for Southern Sports and Talk, 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital GMC. Reserve your brand new truck or SUV today. Check out our great selection of in-stock GM certified pre-owned trucks. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital GMC, making back to busy easy.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the beat. Gotta hit the
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, here we go. Back at it, back at it. What a great day. And I'll tell you what, the Moose has rejoined us. And I saw one of the viewers, I think it was Carlos in Indianapolis, saying the RP show is the best at calling audibles at the line. And we are. That was a team effort there. We got Oronde a little later than scheduled, but we got him on. And Moose was there to pick up the slack, so I appreciate you, Moose. You're fixing your hair, which reminds me, our viewers aren't just smart. They're entertaining. They're funny. And we got some great comments here that's probably going to spur our discussion for the rest of the show. And they're good. And this is on the 902 line, 902-518-3033. Gets in the studio all the time. Well, not outside show hours. I don't look at it then. But certainly during the show, you can contact us. Chris Thom in Heidelberg, Ontario is watching on Game Plus TV. And he says, is Moose trying to become a brunette Max Headroom? Love the show, lads. Does the name Max Headroom mean anything to you? Max Headroom?
Nothing.
Okay. At some
Gotta
point,
Google it, though.
Clark, can you Google Max Headroom? He was an 80s icon. Would I be right, viewers, in saying the mascot of MTV? And when I say mascot, it's not like Stanley C. Panther, the Panthers mascot, or Gainer the Gopher. He was cool. Max Headroom, very cool. Buzz cut, shades, Max Headroom. I think the mascot of MTV. Clark, Google it, please, and throw it on the screen if you can. Because it's worthless to mention that to Darren or ask him until he sees or knows who it is.
Yeah.
From Kevin the Medium. Sorry. from Metal Shingle Guy, he's written in on the 902. He says, is Kevin, the medium, getting any vibes on the destination of Bo? Or did I miss it? I feel like mediums and fortune tellers and tarot card readers can't pinpoint that type of thing. What do you think?
They're not, fortunately, they're not psychics. They can't tell you what the future is going to hold. They can tell you what they're seeing and little clues and some guidance. But I don't think they're going to be able to tell you the future. Otherwise, Kevin will be giving us the lottery numbers every week. And
yeah,
right.
Well, like I say, yeah, I work with Kevin. He's bang on. I love him, and I believe everything. But I've always wondered why the mediums can't say, that's your killer. He did it. Maybe they can, but it wouldn't hold up in court. I don't know. But I'm not trying to solve any murderers. Not today. And which, by the way, can I say this about the Dahmer series, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer series? Have you started it yet?
Not yet, but it's, I think tonight I'm going to watch the first episode.
Clark said he's like 6 episodes in. And I say this respectfully I say this respectfully as I can, not trying to be funny here. It's incredibly disturbing. I said yesterday that I was on the radio in Weyburn when this was happening, 1991. So I was reading the news updates, and I was just as sickened then as I am now by watching this. And we all, I think, know what he did, and don't watch it before supper. Don't. And I don't say that as a joke. Joe Lazito went on a very long rant on Facebook and had a very, Joe's story.
Yeah.
Took down a mass murderer in New York. Joe did. He was injured by him, but survived. And what Joe said, I don't know why I went off on this tangent, but Joe said, it's important that the victims get remembered and personalized. They're not just a name and a date of death. These are people. And that's what the Dahmer series does. It introduces you to who the victims are, but then it goes through what they went through, and it's unreal. And the victims' families are coming out saying they're re-traumatized now by watching this, because this is what their loved ones went through. And I'm like, don't watch it. That would be my...
Yeah.
You did... Okay, thank you, Clark. Go ahead. Go ahead, Darren.
Is it a drama or is it a documentary?
It's a drama. There's a guy playing Jeffrey Dahmer. By the way, that's Max Headroom. So the viewers are asking if you are trying to be a brunette Max Headroom. But if you don't even know who he is, pretty sure you're not trying to be a brunette Max Headroom.
I'm not. But I love the nostalgic references, because now I'm going to start doing some research and see what Max Headroom's all about.
Chris Tom in Heidelberg, Ontario, is of my generation, my vein. So I got it. You didn't. Keith is watching on Game Plus television in Fort McMurray, Alberta, and he brings up a really good point that might actually carry into the next segment. He goes, am I the only adult sports fan who finds it difficult to cheer as hard for sports teams when I know I'm older than everyone on them? Signed, Keith from Fort Mac. What a very interesting point, Keith Tanner, because now, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today, I'm 49, so I look back at these kids now, let's say the NHL, but even the NFL, I'm like, they're children. Cale Makar doesn't look like he's shaving, So there comes this time in life where you got to realize nobody's as old as you. And that's why for years I loved Chris Chelios and a lot of people. The Chelios, he's way older than me. But I look at Tom Brady at 45 going, you go, Tom. Which reminds me, those pro football guys that I was hanging around on the weekend who work, in mostly the NFL, but CFL too and other leagues, they're all on Tom's side. Does that surprise anybody? In the personal thing, they're on Tom's side. They're like, Tom, as long as you can play, you go play. There's still a lot of people that think Tom's being selfish by it. I can't tell you, Darren, how much it's talked about in the States, the Tom Brady, Giselle Buccaneers thing. Like, how much does it come up in your world where you are?
Not much. It's not being talked about every day up here in Canada. But I get it, and I know it's big news, and everybody's got to do what's right for them, and you only get one spin around, right, on this earth. And if you want to play, because he's going to wake up one day and he won't be able to play. And you know what? He's not going to be able to play when he's 50. I don't think. I mean, maybe he can. I'm not going to be the one to tell him he can't play when he's 50. But like, when you think of life, and especially with the TB12 method and what Tom does with his health and his fitness, he's not even at halftime yet of life. He's not even at halftime. And you're telling him to rush through this stage and wrap it up quick? No, man. No. Enjoy it. You've got a long life left to live.
This has spawned a lot of discussion, a lot of comments from our viewers, so hang on. We'll be right back with Overtime. We're nowhere done yet. It's the RP Show on Game Plus Television, YouTube Live, your favorite podcast platform, and, of course, your home of Southern Sports and Talk, WQEE 99.1 FM.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Easy snacking all around. Something everyone can love.
Golf, Hawaii, and the Four Seasons. Imagine picking up your clubs and feeling like a pro for one whole week in paradise. Well, you can get that chance this December with 5-star accommodations, a 3-day tournament at a championship course, and loads of VIP experiences. The Pro Leisure Golf Tour is going to make you feel like a pro, even if your golf game doesn't. So whether you're looking to grab your golfing buddies for a tropical getaway or just wanting to find an exclusive VIP experience to take part in, the PLGT is perfect for you.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
And that's a wrap on summer, everyone. Things are about to get back to busy. Work, school, errands, they're all coming back. That's why we make buying easy at Capital Ford Lincoln. We have a great selection of brand new F-150s in stock. Drive it off the lot today. Reserve an incoming unit or pre-order the perfect vehicle for you. And make some cold hard cash by selling us your used vehicle. We pay big and you can skip the hassle of selling privately. Plus, our service department is always here to help with any make or model. Capital Ford Lincoln, making back to busy easy. Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Download Dark Horse Bets today.
I gotta hit the beat.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Okay, here we go. We are back. And the Moose is with us for overtime. And the fun and frivolity continues. Moose, I'll get to the viewer comments in a moment. Here's one really funny one. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says, watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix, Darren is a dead ringer for the actor.
Easy.
I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't quite go that far. But if you put on some of those windshield glasses like was popular at the time, you might kind of look like Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm just saying.
No.
Breaking news, by the way, I've signed up for BocaNewsNow.com. Updates from Boca News. Over 2 million page views monthly. So you all know how I'm doing, because somebody have asked. Hurricane Ian's eye wall is expected to come ashore later this afternoon. The storm is packing 155 mile-per-hour winds, just shy of Category 5 status. Palm Beach County weather, that's where I am, is expected to deteriorate as the afternoon progresses. Power is out to tens of thousands of customers in Palm Beach County, Broward County, and Miami-Dade County. That's where I am. An apparent tornado ripped through Kings Point late last night. All government offices in Palm Beach County remain closed. No word yet about Thursday. And interestingly enough, you'll want to know, Darren, all beaches are closed. So today, you can't go to the beach. And I don't say this facetiously. It's just, we got through one more day.
Yes.
As far as the show and the power being on. So God willing, that's a God shot. There's no doubt. So to the viewers here, everybody's going on about Max Headroom. I guess he was the spokesman for Coke. I'm sorry. It was 40 years ago, people. Come on. 40 years ago. I'm sorry. I had the wrong one. Kevin the Medium says I'm correct. They do know who the murderers are, but it won't stand up in court. I get that. From my cousin Christine in Medicine Hat. She says, I started the Dahmer show. Too scary and bizarre for me. I've never seen anything like it. Changing topics from Don, our Navy friend. He says, as you get older, the more and more you think that pro sports is kind of foolish. So now it's a foolish pleasure for me to watch it. And so I want to say this. For the fans, you got to understand it is just leisure. For the people in it, it's their lives, but people don't understand that. Tom Brady's a person. Jeff, the Stamps fan, says it's nobody but Tom and Gisele's business. Right, but nobody cares. They're going to talk about it no matter what. So, yeah, you never got a chance to talk on that. What do you think when you see players that are younger than you? Do you find it harder to follow the sports? Are you maybe not old enough to understand what he's saying, Keith?
No, I know exactly what he's saying. Because as a kid, I'm watching all these NHL stars, CFL stars, NFL stars. They're older than you, and they're your heroes. They're your icons. That you watch them and you think, I want to be you one day, and you cheer for them and you follow their stats. It's a little weird, to go and follow a 15-year-old. It's not quite the same. You don't cheer for it the same, but it is. You can still cheer for teams and stuff and athletes that are younger than you. I think just that fandom of these are my icons, my idols, and my heroes, that kind of fades away. So it's a different fandom.
Sure. Well, it's kind of interesting. You look at the photo of Lanny McDonald, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it's the one the night they won the Stanley Cup. Lanny, the Flames. Lanny's got the beard. He's wearing a white cap, and he's like hugging the Stanley. And in 1989, I'd have been in high school. So I'm looking at that photo going, what an old fart. He looks like an old prospector. Give him a pickaxe and send him out, on the railroad. And then now here I'm at 49 going, he looks like a kid. You know what I mean? Like, perspective. I totally get what Keith is saying. That was a very interesting point by him. And we can go all over the place here. Jennifer from the Four Seasons says, I agree with the point of playing for as long as possible. It really is once in a lifetime. But I honestly don't care what's happening in his personal life. It's none of my business. I don't do soap operas. No, Jennifer, but that's because you're cool and you have a life. Most life lesson, folks. People that don't have a life really like to stick their nose in others. from Andrew Stout. Thankfully, changing topics again. Andrew says, Bonjour, Rod. Looking forward to watching Habs versus Leafs tonight. Habs have lots of rookies looking good so far. Not a cup contender, but I like where they're going. Well, so do I. So do I. As long as the expectations are realistic in Montreal and people know that they're probably not going to make the playoffs, and the best thing for them is to probably finish 32nd. I'm looking forward to the Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes here Thursday night. Darren, will you be watching Leafs Habs tonight?
You know, I'll tune it in a little bit, but I won't be that interested in it. Again, preseason game. I'm interested for, see the highlights. If it's on in the background while I'm making supper, that type of thing. Yeah, but that's about the extent of my interest.
The games tonight, Washington at Philadelphia, the Buffalo Sabres at Columbus. Johnny Hockey had 3 helpers in his Columbus debut. Chicago at Detroit. Edmonton, Calgary, as I mentioned earlier. Arizona at Anaheim. Colorado at Vegas. San Jose at the Los Angeles Kings. Blue Jays home to the Yankees tonight. The Atlanta Braves have worked their way into a tie with the Mets for the NL Eastern lead. In the dub tonight, the Winnipeg Ice are at PA. No games in the O or the Q. Last minute of play, the RP show. Arlen Bruce III writes in, he says, RP and Moose, the 109th Grey Cup is sold out at Mosaic Stadium. Are we in there? I'm for it. November 20th, 3 days before my birthday. We will be at the Grey Cup broadcasting live, but I'm leaving that up to Moose to handle the details and the announcements of everything. Sounds like you're on it, Moose. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, you bet. We're really excited for it. And it's going to be fun to be in Regina.
BW says, is the Oilers game on TV? Anyone? It's got to be, man. It's the BOA. The Flames and Kraken were on NHL Network last night. I was gone to bed by the time they iced the puck. But, yeah, it's hard to believe that not every Panthers game is on TV.
If they got internet, it will be.
Hey, the game's not on in Tulsa. See you tomorrow, Moose.
Later.
Noon Eastern.
McFly, hello.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.